Alicia, although Bafana have been knocked out of the tournament, South Africans can still look forward to hosting hundreds of thousands of World Cup visitors for the next 3 weeks. And these are visitors who are spending money at shops, restaurants and hotels, giving the economy a much-needed boost. Now, to find out just how much they're likely to be spending, I'm joined by Andrew Woodward. He's the head of sponsorship communications at card payment company Visa. Andrew, thanks very much for coming in today.
And good day, Steve. Good to be here.
And of course, you're an Australian living in the United States at this stage, so quite difficult this World Cup for you.
No. It's great to be back in a Commonwealth country. They play cricket, they play rugby here, so it's great to turn the telly on. So very happy to be here.
And I hope while you've been here, you've been using your very own Visa card to buy tickets to matches. How many matches have you been to so far?
I've been to about 3 or 4, and the merchants in Nelson Mandela Square and around Melrose Arch, they know me on a first name basis now, so it's going well.
Well, we're almost 2 weeks into the tournament so far. What sort of spending has there been on cards by foreigners visiting South Africa?
Yeah, we've got our first lot of data through, and it's pretty good for South Africa. And I want to make the point, it's not just Johannesburg or Cape Town, it's right across the 9 cities. And what we've seen to date in the first 3 weeks of June is spending of about R1 billion here in South Africa by foreign cardholders. For the same 3 weeks last year, we're talking 630 million rand. So the numbers are really, really good to date. They're up 55%, and the number of transactions, this time last year, there were 30,000 Visa transactions by foreigners in South Africa. For the first 3 weeks of this year, 45,000 a day, so an extra 15,000 transactions a day.
And we're talking about purely Visa cards here, so your Visa debit cards and credit cards.
And prepaid cards as well, which are growing in prominence, not only here but right around the world.
What sort of prepaid cards are we talking about here?
Well, there are 2 types of prepaid cards. There are the ones that you use as a gift card that can be used in any merchant, and there's also the ones that you can reload money back onto. So you put a whole lot of money on your Visa prepaid card. Once that's run out, you put more money back on it, and so you can keep using it.
So almost like travellers' wallets as well, that people would buy to go travelling.
Yes, because like we're the only card accepted here at the World Cup venues, and for those who have other cards or they just like to separate their spending or manage their money, prepaid cards are really, really popular.
Okay, so only Visas can be used at World Cup venues.
That's correct.
So we can assume that the spending on Visa cards would maybe be a little bit higher than on MasterCards or American Express or Diners Club.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at the spending to date of those figures that I gave you, around about 90% of the spending is on accommodation, restaurants, retail, auto and air. Okay, so they're the usual suspects for a business traveller or a leisure traveller, and we've got the big international broadcasters here, we've got the big sponsors here, we've also got the fan groups coming in. So the spending's being felt at the high end in the good hotels and the good restaurants, but right down to the other end as well, and as I said, right across the country.
So if you look at spending on other cards, spending with people coming with cash or with travellers' checks, I mean the R1 billion that you've seen is actually quite a lot more in just the first 3 weeks of June.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as I said, we're talking 45,000 transactions a day compared to an average for the same period last year of 30,000 transactions. And one of the things about it is that the cards are becoming more accepted in South Africa. People know they can use them with confidence, and they're switching over. So it's good news.
Well, apart from yourself, who else has been spending? Do we have a breakdown on nationalities? Who's coming here and throwing around the dosh?
Yeah, there's they're the usual suspects. Let me put it to you that way. I mean, in terms of the normal foreign visitors here, the English are spending up. The people from the United States are spending up. The French were spending up until yesterday.
Perhaps not anymore. Yeah. Or perhaps they're buying a lot more wine now.
Exactly, to quell their dramas. Also, people from Brazil and Australia as well. And there's some really interesting numbers coming out. And if you look at, say, the UK, spending from there is up 25%. Australia up 108%, so the spending has doubled of Australians coming here. But also Brazil up 390%. It's quite remarkable that there's a relatively small Brazilian base that comes here, but now at tournament time it's just gone absolutely through the roof, because not only do you have the fans following the Brazilian team, you've also got a lot of businesses and the organising committee from Brazil here observing the tournament ahead of 2013 and 2014.
With all these people here spending, have you anticipated any problems with some of your systems in the country? No,
look, everything's going according to plan. I mean, with any major event there are teething problems at the start, but we had a great experience here last year with the Confederations Cup. That was the 8 teams in pretty much venues based around Johannesburg, and that enabled us to test our systems, see how things worked, and and we're seeing and that experience last year is now paying dividends today. So last year was a very, very important event for Visa.
Just looking at your sponsorship of the event, you've already talked about Visa cards being used in stadia.
Yep.
What's the value for Visa beyond that of being a sponsor of a big event like this?
Sure. Well, we look at the sponsorship in three ways. The first way is increasing transactions, and our whole end game is trying to move people from cash and cheque toward electronic payments on Visa. So that's how we use the sponsorship in a way, and I'm happy to expand on that. Secondly, we're looking to build favourability or brand equity in Visa, and thirdly, we use the sponsorship to engage with all of those banks around the world that issue Visa cards and all of those merchants that accept Visa cards. And for example, with this sponsorship, we're promoting our association with the tournament in nearly 100 countries around the world for the Beijing.
So it's not just in South Africa?
No, not just in South Africa. If you take, say, Beijing, for example, the Beijing Olympics, we also sponsor the Olympic Games. That was activated in 55 countries. So this is our debut sponsorship. This is the first time we've sponsored a FIFA World Cup, and so far so good.
Do you actually see people applying for Visa cards ahead of this tournament or during the tournament?
Well, there's a whole range of ways this benefits us in terms of transactions and card issuance. Around the world, there are many banks that issue specific Visa FIFA World Cup cards. And for anyone here in South Africa at the moment, you can get a Visa prepaid card with a Jabulani ball on it. And it does attract some people. I mean, there are fanatics all around the world, and this is another collectible for them. And many of them are prepaid cards. So we do see people come to that. Also, too, one of the other things that we've done over the past 12 months is offer people the opportunity to win a prize to come to South Africa for the World Cup. And we've got 4,000 guests here at the moment. 4,000 people over the space of the 5 weeks who have won prizes by swiping their Visa card when they pay for something. So yes, it does. It's, as I said, it's all about transactions, brand equity, and engagement with our financial institutions around the world.
Well, you've already told us you're rooting for Australia in the World Cup. Who would you expect to win, though, apart from Australia?
Oh, gosh, I mean, it's a real lucky dip. I mean, at the moment, I'm heading out to Nelspruit this afternoon with a heavy heart, but fingers crossed. But, the Germans look hot. I mean, I saw them demolish Australia. It broke my heart, but they're looking pretty hot. But, the thing about this tournament is it's an absolute lucky dip. I mean, England's having its issues. France has gone. Spain's hot and cold. I mean, who knows? But it's just so great to watch.
Well, another Bafana Bafanas dance. I'll be rooting for Australia as well. Andrew, thanks very much for coming in.